Good morning, everyone. My name is Bahasa, and today I'm going to present about artificial intelligence. First of all, what is AI? Artificial intelligence (AI) is a wide-range branch of computer science concerned with building a smart machines capable of performing tasks that typically require human intelligence. AI is an interdisciplinary science with multiple approaches, but advancements in machine learning and deep learning are creating a paradigm shift in virtually every sector of the tech industry. History of AI. The roots of modern artificial intelligence, or AI, can be tracked back to the classical philosophers of Greece and their efforts to model human thinking as a system of symbols. More recently, in the 1940s, a school of thought called connectionism was developed to study the process of thinking. In 1950, a man named Alan Turing wrote a paper suggesting how to test a thinking machine. He believed if a machine could carry on a conversation by way of a teleprinter, imitating a human with no noticeable differences, then the machine could be described as thinking. His paper was followed in 1952 by the Hodgkin-Huxley model of the brain as neurons forming an electrical network with individual neurons firing in all or, all or nothing on or off pulses. This event at the conference sponsored by Dartmouth College in 1956 helped to spark the concept of artificial intelligence. Jonathan Crane is the CCO of IPsoft, the creators of the virtual assistant called Amelia. He had to say this about the current state of artificial intelligence. AI is driving a huge change in the way we can target our marketing and advertising, even for smaller companies. This means that businesses are able to target their spend and increase ROI, and allow advertising to do what it should, giving people adverts they want to see. Mr. Crane is referring to AI's use of big data. Artificial intelligence can be combined with big data to handle complex tasks and can process information at much faster speeds than any previous systems. The development of AI has not been streamlined and efficient, starting as an exciting imaginative concept in 1956. Artificial intelligence research funding was cut in the 1970s after several reports criticized a lack of progress. Efforts to imitate a human brain called neural network were experimented with and dropped. The most impressive functional programs were only able to handle simplistic problems and were described as toys by the unimpressed. AI researchers had been overly optimistic in establishing their goals and had made naive assumptions about the problems they would encounter. When the results they promised never materialized, it should come as no surprise their funding was cut. The first AI winter. AI researchers had to deal with two basic limitations: not enough memory and processing speeds that would seem abysmal by today's standards. Much like gravity research at the time, artificial intelligence research had its government funding cut and interest dropped off. However, unlike gravity, AI research resumed in 1980s with the US and Britain providing funding to compete with Japan's new fifth generation computer project and their goal of becoming the world leader in computer technology. The stretch of time between 1974 and 1980 has now become known as the first AI winter. The first AI winter ended with the introduction of expert systems, which were developed and quickly adopted by other competitive corporations all around the world. The primary focus of AI research was now on the theme of accumulating knowledge from various experts. AI also benefited from the revival of connectionism in the 1980s, cybernetics and neural networks. Cybernetics studies automatic control systems. Two examples are the brain and nervous systems and the communication systems used by computers. Cybernetics has been used to train the modern version of neural networks. However, neural networks would not become financially successful until the 1990s when they start being used to operate optical character recognition programs and speech patterns recognition programs. Expert systems. Expert systems as represent an approach in artificial intelligence research that became popular throughout the 1970s. An expert system uses the knowledge of experts to create a program. Expert systems can answer questions and solve problems within a clearly defined arena of knowledge and uses rules of logic. Their simplistic design made it reasonably easy for programs to be designed, built, and modified. Bank loan screening programs might provide a good example of an expert system from the early 1980s. But there were also medical and sales applications using expert systems. Generally speaking, these simple programs became quite useful and start saving businesses large amounts of money. For instance, in 1980, Digital Equipment Corporation began requiring their sales team use an expert system named XCON when placing customer orders. DEC sold a broad range of computer components, but the sales force was not especially knowledgeable about what they were selling. Some orders combined components they didn't work together, and some orders were missing needed components. Before XCON, technical advisors would screen the problems, identify non-functional combinations, and provide instructions for assembling the system. Since this process, including communications with the customer, caused a bottleneck at the DEC, and many efforts to automate it had failed, DEC was willing to try a technology that was relatively new to this kind of situation. By 1986, the system was saving DEC $40 million annually. The knowledge in the system needed to be collected and added by people trained in expert systems and in knowledge acquisition. Many of its technical advisors are engineers, but they were not AI experts. And the team of engineers DC finally organized were familiar with AI, but members of the group were not chosen for their artificial intelligence expertise. There simply were not that many experts available, and no one in the group was familiar with the language it was written in. OPS 4. After roughly a year, with a huge amount of assistance from Carnegie Mellon, the program's original writers, and having grown to nearly 1,000 roles, the EC was able to take over the programming and maintenance of XCON. Integrating XCON into the DAC culture was a difficult but successful experience. Management learned an expert system requires specially trained personnel, and they took responsibility for training and hiring people to meet those needs. At its peak, XCON has 2,500 roles and had evolved significantly, though currently its popularity has waned as it has become a bit of a dinosaur. XCON was the first computer system to use AI techniques in solving real-world problems with an industrial settings. By 1985, corporations all over the world had begun to use expert systems, and a new career field developed to support them. XCON could configure sales orders for all FAX11 computer, six, computer systems manufactured in the United States, but the system needed to be continuously adjusted and updated and required a full-time IT team. The second AI winter. The AI field experienced another major winter from 1987 to 1993. This second slowdown in AI research coincided with XCON and other early expert system computers. Being seen as slow and clumsy, desktop computers were becoming very popular and displacing the older, bulkier, much less user-friendly computer banks. Eventually, expert systems simply became too expensive to maintain when compared to desktops. They were difficult to update and could not learn. These were problems desktop computers did not have. At about the same time, DARPA Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency concluded AI would not be the next wave and redirected its funds to projects deemed more likely to provide quick results. As a consequence, in the late 1980s, funding for AI research was cut deeply, creating the second AI winter. Conversation with computers becomes a reality. In the early 1990s, artificial intelligence research shifted its focus to something called intelligent agent. These intelligent agents can be used for news retrieval services, online shopping, and browsing the web. Intelligent agents are also sometimes called agents or bots. With the use of big data programs, they have gradually evolved into personal digital assistants or virtual assistants. Currently, tech giant businesses such as Google, Facebook, IBM, and Microsoft are researching a number of artificial intelligence projects, including virtual assistants. They are all competing to create assistants such as Facebook M or Cortana from Microsoft or Apple Siri. The goal of artificial intelligence is no longer to create an intelligent machine capable of imitating human conversation with a teletype. The use of big data has allowed AI to take the next evolutionary step. Now the goals are to develop software programs capable of speaking in natural language like English and act as your virtual assistant. This virtual assistant represents the future of AI research and may take the form of robots for physical help or maybe housed in laptops and help in make business decisions, or they may be integrated into a business's customer service program and answer the phone. Artificial intelligence is still evolving and finding new uses. How does AI work? AI software development has phenomenal potential in healthcare and medicine, but how artificial intelligence systems work is not something that's entirely intuitive. Algorithms are generally understood to produce very specific results based based upon input. Typical computer programs do not demonstrate the deductive reasoning, pattern recognition, anticipation, and decision making that are hallmarks of human intelligence in action. Artificial intelligence programming allows for this higher level information processing to various systems, allowing intellectual work that typically would require full human control to be automated by computers. Not only does this save time and labor, this but it also offers opportunity to discover patterns in expensive data sets that might otherwise go unnoticed by the human eye. Fundamentals of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence was first developed using symbolic learning. The earliest applications were used for robotics, allowing for computer vision and movement to achieve specific tasks within a within a contained environment. Other common symbolic learning applications use formal logic to achieve easily defined outcomes, such as playing games like chess and checkers. In these applications, the artificial intelligence systems base their actions upon the observed environment. More advanced forms of AI add new heuristics, guidelines, or even new algorithms based upon observed success of existing AI to improve over time. The addition of these heuristics to artificial intelligence applications constitute rule-based machine learning. What is machine learning? AI machine learning focuses on development capacity for AI to improve its responses to given conditions through time by experience. Machine learning also encompasses deep learning features that allow for multidimensional pattern recognition from complex data sets. The development of machine learning has been crucial to growing artificial intelligence capacities in ways that make AI much more recognizably cognizant. Role-based machine learning. For example, in role-based machine learning, functioning is determined through a growing series of heuristics based upon the knowledge captured by the system in its performance. These rules typically qualify how information will be processed based on observed conditions in, if, and then logic gates. The AI application will identify for itself the useful rules to be applied to enhance its functionality in supervised learning development, thus allowing it to enhance its functional understanding over time. Role-based machine learning allows for continuous autonomous improvement to intellectual output, allowing AI to mimic how real brains work. Computer vision. The improvement in computer vision that machine learning allows over the older generation of symbolic learning is a good example of how machine learning advanced the capabilities of AI. Previous computer vision was relatively clumsy and required much more exact matches of images. With machine learning, computer vision becomes more general, judgment-oriented, and intuitive. Shapes and other factors need not line up exactly what against a defined range, but rather algorithms can spot similarly to previous categorized images of that type to base decisions on overall similarity. These judgments can be corrected by code developers in supervised learning, which labels the machine learning output and allows the code to adjust its future output based on previous output accuracy. Deep machine learning with neural networks. Artificial neural networks represent the pinnacle of machine learning, starting with convolutional neural networks (CNN) and evolving towards recurrent neural networks (RNN) with long short-term memory (LSTM) and or with reinforcement learning deep learning algorithms empower the most advanced artificial intelligence systems available today. In artificial neural networks, Inputs are passed through several functional parameters arranged as networks webbed together in multiple layers. Its output is a reflection of the relative weight of individual networks within that layer. Natural language processing. Today, most advanced natural language processing leverages artificial neural networks to accomplish its task. Since context determines much of the semantics of language, having an artificial neural network allows natural language processing AI applications to make crucial judgments on meaning based on the surrounding information. Here, recurrent neural networks, which continually reprocess information temporally using recursive information flows that refer process information back to previous neuronal layers before passing outputs to the next layer and are particularly helpful to ensure that its word is interpreted within the context of the concept that both precedes and precedes it. Supervised and unsupervised learning. This way of individual neuronal layer may layer input may be adjusted through a process of supervised learning where the algorithm is trained based upon observer review outputs. Artificial neural networks can also be used in unsupervised deep learning in which the AI application is free to identify any patterns it may find across complex data sets. Unsupervised learning with artificial neural networks can be particularly useful when seeking to find correlations in healthcare outcomes based on demographics and treatment histories. As AI is better able to detect more subtle and complex correlational patterns that humans typically can, and the automated process helps speed up the research. Fun facts about AI. Artificial intelligence is getting a lot of attention from everyone nowadays. It has potential to transfer everything from finance to cloud computing. Many giant companies are betting that AI influence will influence not just their products and services, but nearly every aspect of their businesses. The first one, AI is already in movies. Iron Man's Jarvis, Vision 5, Avengers or the Terminators are all part of the AI world in movies. AI has created a biological clock. We can identify biological age with biomarkers, and these are used to form biological aging clocks. Deep learning has taken this to the next level. It has helped creating an aging clock that can predict biological age across many different populations so that it can be used on a global scale, unlike non-deep learning aging clocks. Robots can have citizenships. Saudi Arabia has given citizenship to the social humanoid robot Sophia. She became the first ever robot to get citizenship of any country in the world. She or it is also the first non-human to be given any United Nations title, the Innovation Champion. 4. AI is not new. May even though may are hearing about AI in the recent years, AI goes way back to the 1950s. Alan Turing is counted as the father of AI. Back in the day, he invested in a test based on natural language conversation with a machine. AI is the new electricity. When electricity was introduced to the world, it changed everything from cars to many other industries. AI is currently in line to be next big thing and will transform everything industry and create enormous economic value just like electricity once did. Even processors have AI. Google's parent company Alphabet has created a processor that works with the help of AI called the Tensor Processing Unit (TPU). It, it is designed to make its advertising, search, Gmail, Google Photos, and other services smarter. In the wrong hands, 7. In the wrong hands, AI could be used for destruction. Many tech industry leaders have raised concerns about the future of AI. Even Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, has warned multiple occasions that artificial intelligence may be dangerous for humanity. We should always use AI for the advancement of humanity and provide checks and balances to prevent the use of AI for destructions. There are many examples. One of the most significant AI scandals is the Cambridge Analytica's use of AI back in 2016. They used AI to automatically play social media ads after reviewing the user's social media feed to persuade the user with resonating ad content, which is harvested from the user's feed data. Advantages of AI. That's the Here's the advantages of AI. The first one is reduction of human error. The phrase human error was born because humans make mistakes from time to time. Computers, however, do not make these mistakes if they are programmed properly. With artificial intelligence, the decisions are taken from the previous gathered information, applying certain sets of algorithms, so errors are reduced and the chance of reaching accuracy with a greater degree of precision is a possibility. Example: in weather forecasting using AI, they have reduced the majority of human error. Takes risk instead of humans. This is one of the biggest advantages of artificial intelligence. We can overcome many risky limitations of humans by developing an AI robot, which in turn can do the risky things for us. That is be going to Mars, defuse a bomb, explore the deepest parts of ocean, mining for coal and oil. It can be used effectively in any kind of natural or man-made disasters. Example: have you heard about the Chernobyl nuclear power plant explosions in Ukraine? At that time, there were no AI-powered robots that can help us to minimize the effect of radiation by controlling the fire in early stages. As any human went close to the core was dead in a matter of minutes. They eventually poured sand and water from helicopters from a mere distance. AI robots can be used in such situations where intervention can be hazardous. Available 24 times 7. An average human will work 4 to 6 hours a day without excluding the breaks. Humans are built in such a way to get some time out for refreshing themselves and get ready for a new day of work and they even have weekly off to stay intact with their work life and personal life. But using AI, we can make machines work 24 times 7 without any breaks and they don't even get bored, unlike humans. Example: educational institutes and helpline centers are getting many queries and issues which can be handled effectively using AI. Helping in repetitive jobs. In our day to work, we will be performing many repetitive work such like sending a thanking mail, verifying certain documents for errors, and many more things. Using artificial intelligence, we can productively automate these mundane tasks and can even remove boring tasks for human and humans and free them up to be increasingly creative. Example: in banks, we often see many verifications of documents to get a loan, which is a repetitive task for the owner of the bank. Using AI cognitive automation, the owner can speed up the process of verifying the documents, which both the customers and the owner will be benefited. I already went there for the directors, but 5. Digital assistants. Some of the highly advanced organizations use digital assistants to interact with users, which saves the need for human resources. The digital assistants also are used in many websites to provide things that users want. We can chat with them about what we are looking for. Some chatbots are designed in such a way that it's become hard to determine we're chatting with a chatbot or a human being. We all know that organizations have a customer support team that needs to clarify the doubts and queries of the customers. Using AI, the organizations can set up a voice bot or chatbot which can help customers with all the queries. We can see many organizations already started using them on their websites and mobile applications. 6. Faster decisions. Using AI alongside other technologies, we can make machines take decisions faster than a human and carry out actions quicker. While taking a decision, human will analyze many factors both emotionally and practically, but AI-powered machine works on what is programmed and delivers the results in a faster way. Example: we all have played chess in Windows. It is nearly 2 bits CPU in the hard mode because of the AI behind the game. It will take best possible step in a fair short time according to the algorithms used behind it. 7. Daily applications. Daily applications such as Apple Siri, Windows Cortana, and Google's OK Google are frequently used in our daily routine, whether it is searching a location, taking a selfie, making a phone call, and replying to a mail, and much more. Example: around 20 years ago, when we were planning to go somewhere, we used to ask the person who already went there for the directions. But now we all have to say, we all we have to do is say, "Okay, Google, where is Visakhapatnam?" It will show you Visakhapatnam's location on the Google map and the best path best path between you and Visakhapatnam. 8. New inventions. AI is powering many inventions in almost every domain which will help humans solve the majority of complex problems. Example: recently doctors can predict breast cancer in the woman at earlier stages using advanced AI-based technologies. Aside of the advantages, there are some of disadvantages of AI. The first is high cost of creation. As AI is updating every day, the hardware and software need to get updated with time to meet the latest requirements. Machines need repairing and maintenance which need plenty of cost. Its creation requires huge cost as they are very complex machines. 2. Making humans lazy. AI is making humans lazy with its application and automating the majority of the work. Humans tend to get addicted to these inventions, which can cause a problem to future generations. 3. Unemployment. As AI is replacing the majority of the repetitive tasks, in other words, with robots, human interference is becoming less which will cause a major problem in the employment standards. Every organization is looking to replace the minimum qualified individuals with AI robots which can do similar work with more efficiency. 4. No emotions. There is no doubt that machines are much better when it comes to working efficiently, but they cannot replace the human connection that makes the team. Machines cannot develop a bond with humans, which is an essential attribute when it comes to team management. 5. Lack and 5. Lacking out-of-box thinking. Machines can perform only those tasks which they are designed and programmed to do. Anything of that, they tend to crash or give relevant outputs, which could be a major backdrop. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you very, thank you for. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you very much.